It has been a snowy day across much of central and eastern Kentucky. We're getting ready to kick Old Man Winter to the curb, though. We'll explain just ahead.
The snow caused a mess on some Kentucky roads this afternoon and even shut down part of Interstate 64 for a while. We'll have a live look at road conditions.
Instead of a primary, Kentucky Republicans will choose their presidential candidate with a caucus. We'll help you understand how it works.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening to you. A round of heavy snow has been causing some problems across parts of central and eastern Kentucky today, but elsewhere, hardly any snow fell at all.
Snow is still falling in parts of the state right now. We begin our First Alert Weather Team coverage with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. Chris?
Yeah, snow's especially heavy across areas just to the east and now southeast of the Lexington area. We've picked up greater than 4 inches of snow in several counties, but as you mentioned, to the south and southwest, a lot of counties getting absolutely nothing to stick. Winter storm warning now for parts of Morgan, Elliott, Johnson, and Magoffin counties. We also have a winter weather advisory that continues in effect for several counties that are shaded in the blue. Snowfall totals so far, you go from 0 to upwards of 5 and 6 inches just over the course of a 50 or 60 mile stretch of real estate. Still can pick up an additional inch or two from the Moorhead area down into parts of West Liberty. So some areas wouldn't be surprised if we don't wind up with greater than 6 inches. Temperatures into the bluegrass region now inching above freezing. So the snows we had earlier are beginning to melt, and the snows that are flying still not sticking like what we were seeing earlier in the day. Still snowing in Lexington, even though your Defender Radar Network has the heaviest band of snows now off to our east and southeast. 64 down to the Mountain Parkway corridor. Those are the areas still dealing with some heavier bursts of snow. That's where we have that winter storm warning for another inch or two. But look how quickly now we're starting to see the snow pushing out of Kentucky into parts of Ohio, Virginia, and West Virginia. And that's a sign of better days ahead of us in terms of not only the snow getting out of here, but a touch of spring that is on the way. We'll track that when I come back in just under 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. At one point, there were so many crashes that Interstate 64 in Montgomery County had to be shut down in both directions.
Some drivers say they spent hours stuck in traffic. Garrett Weimer joins us now live from Montgomery County with a look at the latest road conditions now. Garrett?
Traffic is moving smoothly now on the interstate, where just a little bit earlier it was backed up and even at a standstill. It's been a messy day on I-64 and the snow continues to fall, but at one point both lanes in both directions rather in Montgomery County were closed after a number of crashes.
Yeah, a little too much for Thursday.
Les Stanfield says the falling snow made for the kind of crazy day he didn't expect.
Just want to go home. Instead, I gotta get stuck out in this snow.
Stanfield says he was on his way home from work when the road started getting slick.
1 minute it was all clear, and the next thing it was just white pretty much.
That's when he says he slid out into a ditch. When he got out of his car, he saw several other cars behind him also wrecked.
I have bald tires, but my front tires were really bald. I switched them to the back yesterday, and then it started snowing today, and it just kept on kicking out on me, and I lost control of it.
Thankfully, we're told no one was badly hurt in any of those wrecks. Live along I-64, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Garrett, thank you. The roads are looking much better in Scott County tonight, but early this afternoon, many of them were snow covered, and first responders tell us they stayed busy working many crashes. Caitlin Sentner continues our live First Alert Weather Team coverage now from Scott County. Caitlin?
The flurries have recently stopped here in Scott County, but roads are still a little bit wet. Today has been a rather busy day for first responders.
I'm from Ontario. We don't have a problem with snow. We're used to it. We slow down and take our time.
A number of crashes in Scott County Thursday afternoon, police say were caused by people driving too fast in the snow.
If you just maintain 50, 55, you're not bad, but I still see people driving 70 and passing.
First responders kept busy with a number of accidents between 75, 64, and a few of those county roads. Of the 15 to 20 accidents, Scott County Emergency Management says none were serious, but those heading south into the area called road conditions further north treacherous.
Well, just in the past, I'd say 20 miles, There's been 3 cars turned upside down on our side, and traffic was very slow on the other side. I suspect there may have been some there too.
And there were about 4 or 5 different vehicles that had actually overturned, and rescue workers were there getting them out and what have you. So it's pretty rough out there, but started slowing down once I got back into the Lexington area and what have you.
For the most part, roads were just wet, but snow hung out in a couple of places, including the fast lane on I-75 southbound through the county for a number of miles. Calls for accidents were told slowed in the mid-afternoon. Drivers remain hopeful this is the last they'll see the snow.
It sounds like next week, I think we're definitely going to be done with it for a while, so let's hope.
The roads are definitely in better condition now than we've seen all day. Taking it slow, though, still the key. Live in Scott County, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
You can track snow and the latest traffic with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
Governor Matt Bevin's administration claims a Lexington women's clinic has been performing abortions without a license, and the governor wants a judge to stop them. The state is now suing EMW Women's Clinic on Burt Road off Nicholasville Road. It comes weeks after the state filed a similar lawsuit against a Planned Parenthood clinic in Louisville. Victor Puente has the latest.
Governor Matt Bevin's office says this clinic has been performing abortions without a license. Yesterday, they filed a lawsuit asking a judge to stop them from performing any more abortions until they get one. That lawsuit says the EMW Women's Clinic doesn't have a license to perform abortions. It says state inspectors were called there in February after a tip saying, quote, a recent inspection of the defendant's Lexington facility uncovered that the facility exists solely to perform abortions. Therefore, it does not qualify for the licensure exemption provided to private physicians' offices. It is an abortion facility, and as such, the law requires that it be licensed. They also say Kentucky law requires abortion clinics to have transfer agreements with a hospital and an ambulance service in case of an emergency. The lawsuit says the clinic has an agreement with the hospital, but not with an ambulance service. The paperwork also claims inspectors found expired medication and that some conditions were unsanitary. They're asking the circuit court to prevent the clinic from performing any more abortions until they are licensed. State Representative Mary Lou Marzian, an abortion rights supporter, questioned the move, saying, quote, I wonder if he doesn't have something better to do than continue his war on women's health. In February, the Bevin administration filed a suit against Planned Parenthood in Louisville for operating what they said was an unlicensed abortion clinic. Pro-life activists who regularly meet at the clinic say they support the move.
Even the people that are pro-choice should care that the law is being followed, and it's not.
So far, the clinic hasn't commented on the lawsuit. A worker inside told me they were busy with patients and couldn't discuss it. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The lawsuit also asks the court to fine the clinic the maximum amount allowed by law, although it doesn't have a specific dollar amount. New tonight, a Clay County grand jury has indicted a man accused of causing a crash that killed 5 people, including an unborn child. Jason Gibson was indicted today on murder, fetal homicide, and DUI charges. In December, police say he was under the influence of drugs when his car crashed into another car on the Hal Rogers Parkway. Judy Pennington Adams, her pregnant granddaughter Tiffany, Tiffany's son Kyson, and family friend Charlene Lewis all died in that crash.
Instead of a primary in May, Kentucky Republicans will choose their candidate for president during a caucus on Saturday. The switch was originally made to allow Senator Rand Paul to run for president and Senate at the same time. While he's dropped out of the presidential race, Kentucky Republican leaders still say switching to a caucus was a good move. Miranda Combs helps us understand the caucus.
We will have to select a permanent chairman, and then we will all go into our different caucuses.
It's been a while, 1984, since we've had one.
There were 4 choices caucusers had to choose from: former Vice President Walter Mondale, Senator Gary Hart, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, or uncommitted.
And because of that, memories are blurry or non-existent as to how this works.
I have no delegates for the Mondale caucus. I have 3 delegates awarded to the Hart caucus. I have 11 delegates awarded to the Jackson caucus. I have 3 delegates awarded to the uncommitted caucus.
The Caucuses have been used for a long time. They were the original way that people met and talked about nominating people for office.
Don Doogie has been teaching political science at Transylvania since before the last Kentucky caucus.
You have all sorts of caucuses that exist.
Andy has his opinions on them.
I don't know whether it's fair or not, but it's stupid.
He's referring to the Iowa-New Hampshire caucuses, where less than 2% of the nation set the pace for the presidential race. But he says Kentucky won't be a trendsetter or decision maker, even though half the reason the Republican governing body wanted a caucus was to be more relevant in picking the Republican nominee.
Because we've gone so long, for so many years, where it was just kind of a formality as to, by the time our May primary rolled around, we essentially had no influence in the process because the nominee had already been chosen.
The expectation was that there would be a lot more participation when they decided to do it and decided to do it early. But look at how many have dropped out of the Republican primary already, including Rand Paul.
The Kentucky caucus allowed for Rand Paul to run for both president and U.S. Senate re-election.
Well, it really defeats the purpose for which they had the caucus, which was to allow him to double dip, to run both for senator and president.
Is it ironic that Rand Paul isn't even in it now?
Well, I think that when we approved this caucus, we knew that was a possibility, and everyone accepted the fact that running for president is not easy.
They say the caucus process will be easy. We're at one of the locations in Lexington. This is Northeast Christian Church. There are several others in Fayette County. Most counties, though, will just have one location to vote. They say it'll be a lot like a primary. The only difference is party representatives and candidates can be present.
In terms of candidates themselves, they are welcome to go to any caucus location unannounced on caucus day.
Some have been here this week. Dr. Ben Carson was in Lexington on Monday.
So when you see my calm demeanor, that's a sign of strength.
Super Tuesday brought Trump to Louisville.
Everything we do, it's all wonderful, but if we don't vote, that's not so good.
Marco Rubio was expected to be here Friday, but canceled. Their presence showing, as Mike Biaggi believes, that this is still a race, one he's excited Kentucky is playing a part in.
The key thing is, are they still competing? Are those that are still running still needing Kentuckians' support to win the nomination? And that is most certainly the case.
And it's hard to know what voter turnout will be for Saturday's caucus, particularly since it's been 3 decades since we've had one here. But if you look at primaries from the recent past, they tend to have pretty low turnout, except for presidential election years. But one of the main differences between the caucus and a primary is that taxpayers aren't footing this bill.
So, Miranda, if taxpayers aren't paying, then who is?
The Republican Party for Kentucky is by way of Rand Paul, and that was part of the deal that he would fund this. They don't know how much it's going to cost, though, until after it's over.
All right, Miranda, thank you. Sure. And as those results are first released at 7 on Saturday night, you can join WKYT political editor Bill Bryant and myself for special coverage right here on WKYT. New test results of air around Estill County, a landfill there, where naturally occurring radioactive material was dumped, have been released. That's in 7 minutes.
We're celebrating our anniversary this week at Ashley Home Store with 72 months interest-free financing. Get our best-selling queen storage bed for less than $13 a month and the snailhead trim sofa for only $10 a month. Plus, take up to 50% off all clearance items. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
I'm Bill Nolker, and I'm running to be your state representative. As a former Navy fighter pilot, I have many times been sent into battle in service of my country. Flying into combat, I didn't care whether the commander-in-chief or my wingman was a Democrat or a Republican. What I did care about was successfully completing the mission. I'm running because the people of Boyle and Casey County want that same kind of leadership. They want a leader that understands their needs and represents their values. I'm asking for your vote on March 8th because I want to be your voice. Vote Nolker, March 8th. Duty, honor, service.
Passion, personalized care, and a mission to serve women and families in Kentucky. We are Frontier Nursing University. Through distance education and clinicals in your own community, become a nurse midwife and share your passion for women and family care. Visit frontier.edu.
What's the biggest thing in home comfort? Fayette Heating and Air, the largest HVAC company in central Kentucky. When your system needs service, bigger is better. That's because they have more than 70 vehicles on the road. So there's one near your home 24/7, 365. Call to schedule your complete system checkup, only $59. For expert service day or night, everywhere in central Kentucky.
Backed by super PACs in Washington, Philip Pratt is waging a toxic Washington-style campaign of distortion and lies. The truth? Chuck Tackett is no rubber stamp. Farmer, Frankfurt outsider, and servant leader, Chuck Tackett will stand up to the career politicians, take on establishment insiders, and fight for us. On Tuesday, reject Philip Pratt and his Washington super PAC's toxic campaign. Vote Chuck Tackett. Farmer, Frankfurt outsider.
It's early, and you need a breakfast built for work days, not weekdays. Say good morning to the $3 breakfast with the chicken and gravy breakfast burrito from your DQ. Our famous chicken strip plus eggs, cheese, and pepper gravy wrapped up in a warm flour tortilla, served with crispy hash browns and coffee, all for just $3. Now this is a breakfast built for work days. The chicken and gravy breakfast burrito, just one of our delicious $3 breakfasts, only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
Disney on Ice presents Treasure Trove, presented by Yo Kids, live in your hometown. Tickets start at $15. Tickets are on sale now. Playing March 10th through 13th at Rupp Arena. Visit Ticketmaster today.
It's the anniversary sale at Ashley Home Store, and we're celebrating with 72 months interest-free financing. Or take 10% off your entire purchase, plus take 36 months to pay interest-free. Hurry in. These anniversary savings won't last long. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, from a purely weather standpoint, today a very interesting day to say the least. From 0 snow to upwards of a ½ foot of snow in a matter of miles. That's a narrow band of some heavy snows setting up shop still across parts of eastern Kentucky especially. Look at our sky cams. Really bears out what we are dealing with. Lexington picked up a couple of inches of snow. A lot of that is melting now. A little bit of snow on the ground in the Florence area. London, not so much. Look at E-Town, Louisville, Frankfurt. Not a whole lot. Now we get into Moorhead and Campton. That's an area that has picked up, getting reports of 3, 4, 5, and 6 inches of snow. Jenkins, southeastern Kentucky, nothing. And you're in the higher elevations down there. Winter storm warning is out through the evening for 4 counties. That's Elliott, that's Morgan, that's Magoffin, and that is Johnson County. And that will go through the evening. That's an area that has already picked up greater than 4 and 5 inches of snow. A swath before all is said and done. And we're already into this total for areas in red. In many cases, 3 to 4 inches across most of Scott County, getting some 5-inch plus reports out of Harrison County through parts of Fleming County. I just got a 5-inch snow Twitter pic coming out of the Maysville area in Mason County. So that northern edge of that extended a little farther on toward the Ohio River. That works its way then toward the southeast into parts of Moorhead, West Liberty, and Salyersville, where we have that winter storm warning. That little potent band of snow continues to do its thing. Bare ground across southern Kentucky, still snowing into parts of the Lexington area as of now. It's not sticking because temperatures have warmed since this morning. We're into the mid-30s as of now. But the corridor of heaviest snow continues to be right along Interstate 64 down to the Mountain Parkway. It's about as narrow of a snowstorm as you are ever going to see around here. You get a swath of 4, 5, and 6 inches of snow, and it's over a very localized area. Most of the Bluegrass State snow-free. A little bit of light snow still to come through tonight with some flurries around heading into the day tomorrow. You look at a temperature map, you can see where it's still snowing. Low 30s, 32, 31, and 32. That's Moorhead, that's Mount Sterling, Jackson, Prestonsburg, everybody right at or below freezing where it's still snowing. Lexington Metro, 35 degrees with a lot of drip, drip, drip melting. 42 tomorrow, some flurries left over first thing tomorrow morning. Let's walk you toward the weekend and through the weekend, shall we? Hour by hour forecast. Snows will taper off as we go through the night. Parts of eastern Kentucky, that narrow little corridor, another inch or 2 of heavy wet snow. Situation like this, south of Moorhead especially, watch some of the power lines. May take a hit or 2 with such heavy wet snow in a localized area. Sun comes out late in the day tomorrow, so the snows will melt away quickly through tomorrow and certainly for the day on Saturday as gusty winds kick in. Could be a shower or 2 around 50s. A little chill down Saturday night into Sunday morning, but overall, as we go toward next week, pattern is going to warm up. High pressure across the southeast, low pressure to the west. Both of those funneling in Gulf of Mexico temperatures and moisture, and eventually it's going to turn into a very stormy pattern middle and end of next week as thermometers head toward the 70-degree mark. Weekend, though, still a chance for a shower on Saturday. Much better. by early next week. Absolutely incredible little swath of snow that just will not stop right now in parts of eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, it just wants to hang around,
It's
doesn't
a
it?
small snowstorm. It's as small a snowstorm as you're ever going to see around here.
All right, Chris, thank you.
New tonight, Estill County leaders have released more air test results after naturally occurring radioactive waste was illegally dumped at a landfill.
County leaders say they hired a company to sample air in 15 locations, including around the landfill and at a nearby school. They say all final test results showed the amount of any naturally occurring material found in the air was less than the amount allowed by federal law. They say the air is safe to breathe.
A nice honor today for Alex Poitras, Rob.
And this one comes off the court and in the classroom. It is a real honor for Alex. And Kentucky now has a special teams coach. And today, we met the man who will now coach the defensive backs. Stay with us. Sports is next.
WKYT First Alert Weather is brought to you by Lexington Athletic Club.
Did your family set a goal to become healthier in the new year? One family did and lost 300 pounds at Ageless. Bruce lost 92 pounds, Adam lost 64 pounds, and Catherine lost 151 pounds. For a medically supervised, affordable weight loss solution, call Ageless today for a free consultation.
Come to the Flooring Gallery and let's find the perfect floor together. The Flooring Gallery, your home's best friend.
I don't want an ordinary funeral. I want my life to be celebrated. I've had such a full and blessed life, and I want everyone to know it. That's how I want to be remembered. When people leave my end-of-life celebration, I want them feeling uplifted.
Contact Clark Legacy Center to plan your end-of-life celebration.
I'm Bill Nolker, and I'm running to be your state representative. As a former Navy fighter pilot, I have many times been sent into battle in service of my country. Flying into combat, I didn't care whether the commander-in-chief or my wingman was a Democrat or a Republican. What I did care about was successfully completing the mission. I'm running because the people of Boyle and Casey County want that same kind of leadership. They want a leader that understands their needs and represents their values. I'm asking for your vote on March 8th because I want to be your voice. Vote Nolker, March 8th. Duty, honor, service.
The joys of carry-out pizza places. It's never ready when they say it'll be. And if you just want a slice or two, good luck on that. So why wait at one of those pizza carry-out places when fresh pizzeria-style pizzas, whole or by the slice, are yours in just minutes at Speedway? A rich, buttery crust, real mozzarella cheese, and fresh pepperoni, all ready for you at Speedway. Why wait at a carry-out place when Speedway's got fresh hot pizza in just minutes?
The convenience stores of Speedway.
Now buy one slice of pizza at Speedway and get your second slice free.
Philip Pratt, a proud grandfather, a loving and caring family man, a hard-working small business owner, someone who knows how to grow jobs and change the landscape in Frankfort. Philip Pratt will hold government accountable responsibly, fight Obama's crippling government overreach on our agriculture economy, and preserve our Kentucky heritage in Owen and Scott County. On Tuesday, March 8th, vote Philip Pratt for state representative.
This week on Wheel, stylist to the stars, Johnny Wujek is dressing Vanna.
Just wait till you see the dresses this week, everyone. It's going to be outrageous.
On Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, tonight at 7 on WKYT.
Matthew Mitchell's team getting the SEC tournament underway this afternoon. The Cats and LSU in a second-round game. Kentucky ran off 14 unanswered points at one stretch in the first quarter. Janae Thompson hitting the jumper. Cats were up by 10, 22-12. Evelyn Akator turning in a double-double. 15 points, 13 rebounds. She gets the putback. Cats led 41-29 at the half, opened the lead to 20 in the second half. Michaela Epps, the basket and the foul, she had 17. And then it got a little closer than Matthew Mitchell would have liked. Cats hold on down the stretch. Christy Thomas has more from Jacksonville.
This game wasn't for the faint of heart. 70 free throws shot between these two teams, so it was definitely a rough one. But Kentucky jumped out to a big lead in the first half, and then in the second half let LSU back in it. Matthew Mitchell says he attributes that to one thing.
Effort and attitude. Effort and attitude. We started, we got a 20-point lead, and it's happened. You've seen it before this year. We get a 20-point lead, and for some reason we just let off the gas.
I just feel like in the second half, we kind of let down a little bit once our lead gained a lot. And, it was a good reminder for us, that if we let down at any moment, any team can beat us at any given time.
The post-game press conference in the locker room had a very different feel than most games following a win. The Cats say this game served as a big wake-up call. They'll face 4-seed Florida tomorrow at 2:30. In Jacksonville, Christy Thomas, WKYT.
Alex Poitras is a second-team academic All-American named by the College Sports Information Directors of America. Alex graduated with a degree in business marketing in just 3 years. He had a 3.5 undergraduate average, and he's now pursuing a Master of Science in Kinesiology and Health Promotion. He becomes the 12th Wildcat in program history to be named Academic All-America, joining such legends as Louis Dampier, Dan Issel, and Kyle Macy. Andy Boo will carry the title of Kentucky's special teams coach. Mark Stoops making that announcement late this morning. Boo came on the UK staff last year as outside linebackers coach. He coached previously at California, Wisconsin, Nevada, and Stanford. Last season, the Cats did not have an identified special teams coach. It was handled with all the staff members. And this morning, Steve Clinkscale introduced as UK's new defensive backs coach. Clinkscale comes in from Cincinnati. He just happens to be out of Youngstown, Ohio. He didn't know Mark Stoops, but he was well aware of him.
I mean, he's a football guy. I mean, he probably was, came out, I won't say it, but yeah, he's been born with the football, okay? So I knew when he decided to come here, I knew that they were going to, they were heading in the right direction.
It's easy for me to know what I'm getting with the B coaches. As you know, that's my expertise, and there's great interest in this job and some great candidates. Obviously, I know very specifically what I'm looking for with that hire, and I just thought he was a great fit for us.
And much more boys region high school action tonight. We'll have the highlights right here at 11. Jennifer and Amber, back to you.
Thank you, Rob. A final check of your First Alert forecast is next.
And then on the CBS Evening News, he is one of the NBA's biggest stars, Steph Curry, talking about his road to success and his parents.
WKYT's First Alert Weather follows you wherever you go, on TV, online, on your phone, and throughout the day at 98.1 The Bull.
When you play Kentucky lottery games like Pick 3 and Pick 4, you help Kentucky college students pick up scholarship money.
Fueling imagination.
Funding education.
Savor something different every day. Just ask for the $3 sub of the day at Subway restaurants. A different 6-inch sub every day for only $3. Classics like the meatball marinara and Italian BMT, plus favorites like the turkey breast and turkey and black forest ham. 7 days, 7 subs, $3. Subway, founded on fresh.
Lexington Overstock Warehouse is open this weekend to the public, so don't pay store prices. Get quality furniture and mattresses at incredibly low prices. Pillow top mattress set $197. Deluxe Super Pillow Top mattress set $397. Go to LexingtonOverstockWarehouse.com for more details.
Everyone wants to be energy smart, but sometimes we need a little reminder. With Simple Saver, you save energy and the environment, and you earn energy bill credits. So take the hint. Just call or sign up online, and we'll do all the work. Simple Saver, because being energy smart pays. Licking Valley RECC and South Kentucky RECC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperatives.
Honey, would some Captain D's make you feel better?
Yeah.
When you love seafood this much...
Back again?
I hope it's just a clumsy phase.
It's gotta be D's. Anything's worth it for our new home-style flounder meal or double dozen shrimp. Also try our grilled menu featuring new Tuscan tilapia. For full meals starting at just $4.99, it's gotta be D's.
Change is taking root in Frankfort. We need a voice that'll be heard. Daniel Elliott is the conservative for Boyle and Casey counties. Dedicated to protect our God-given freedoms from Obama liberals, Daniel will ensure government is held accountable and our Kentucky values are protected. Daniel Elliott will fight government overreach that's crippled our economy. We need a strong voice. On Tuesday, March 8th, vote Daniel Elliott for state representative.
Life gets better the older you get, and time becomes more valuable. Time to spend with family, time to try new things, time to have fun. At Kroger, you can have your prescriptions filled while you shop, so it's easy to save money and time with your Kroger pharmacy. And you can get back to the things you love.
It's easy to manage all of your family's prescriptions all online. Order refills, view prescription history, and more. Visit Kroger.com/myprescriptions today.
I'm WKYT's Barbara Bailey, and I stand for Kentucky.
All right, we are trying to push this snow on out of there, but it is still snowing in some places.
It's still coming down at a good clip into eastern Kentucky. 4 counties with a winter storm warning, several of those areas with greater than 4 inches of snow, and it's still coming down. May pick up another inch or two, 64 to the Mountain Parkway corridor.
And Rob, Chris, and Amber's Morehead State Eagles in action tonight.
That's right. They play Murray in the OVC tournament, and they've been on a roll. They won 6 in a row.
We'll see you back here tonight at 11.
Good night.